Welcome. This is Susan Gannett and Annette Mitchell, and today we are going to be talking about negative space. Take it away, Annette.
All right. Well, what we want to talk about is enlivening or activating the negative space as one of your choices as a person to before you even start your artwork. And last week we had this image, and the background space on this white paper had already been rolled with a sponge roller brayer, and it was activated. And then when the actual final drawing was placed on there with some soft pastel, the background was already taken care of. So one of your options when you're doing artwork is to go in and just do something to the white paper before you even make your choice of what the subject matter is. And the subject matter can be anything. It can be landscapes, it can be people, it can be from a photograph, it can be from real life objects, it can be anything you want it to be. But if you haven't done it before, you might have a lot of fun actually using some water-based watercolor or acrylic paint or anything, inks, to put on the paper, which really has no subject. It's just giving you some palette and activity before you actually make the drawing, and I'm going to demonstrate that. But first I would say how to do it. You can use any tool. So you could use the brayer, you could put in some acrylic paint, and I've got here a brush I like very much. It's called a stencil brush. It's flat on the end, it's round, they come in different sizes, and you can use it, and you can just mark up the paper with some gestural qualities. And then when this is dry, you can draw over it and get some wonderful effects. This would probably not be all I would do to it at all. I would probably do something like that. Then take some yellow acrylic or watercolor. Doesn't have to be expensive at all. And take a sponge roller. I've wet it and wrung it out, so to speak. And then just put some yellow on there. If I was going to do a drawing of some daffodils, I'm going to get some more yellow so that it'll show up a little better. And just make some spots or textures on the paper. When that's dry, then I could draw over it. So what I did to speed up the video is yesterday I took a piece of white paper, took my stencil brush, and just dabbed different colors on the paper. At that point, no matter what you use to kind of get some color on there, you can use different tools. One tool that's a lot of fun to use is a black Sharpie marker, just in the regular point. If you wanted to, you could use another tool. You might use your micron pens or a larger marker. But if it's black like this, and then you start to draw over it, most of the time it will show. So at this point, you could either take a photograph, which I'm trying to look around and see. Here's the photograph that's of some daffodils. Here's some real daffodils. You could just take your choice. What do you want to use for your subject matter? And when you've made that choice, I'm going to just look at this one. You might just take your black marker and completely ignore what's on the paper. You just sort of pretend that there's nothing on the paper, and you just look at your subject and you begin to draw. So that's what I'm doing at this point, is I'm just looking at this daffodil that's right here in front of me, and I'm not paying any attention to the spots that I put on there yesterday. I'm just drawing right over the spots. And the two began to go together, and they seem to really add a lot of activity to the drawing. And there's a contrast to working this way and working just on a plain piece of paper. So you could use the black, I mean, the whole point is to have a good time. So, and I'm so thrilled that a lot of you have said that you are truly enjoying and having a good time with your artwork, and that means everything. So instead of thinking I'm going to create something that's going to be headed for the Louvre and I'm going to win the Prix de Rome, you just start thinking, I wonder if I tried this, would it work? And do I like what I'm doing and having a good time? I think the main thing that I would say to you is when you're drawing, you kind of ignore what's already on the paper, and then the two begin to really act, have a dance and work together. Where are we?